Hey, welcome to another class of Tuesday Night Beer School with me, Chad, of Chad's Beer Reviews. And joining us once again is Brett.
Yo.
Up in Brooklyn there. What's going on, man?
It's going good, man. Just did a brew day with 5 boroughs today.
Awesome. Did you get paid for it?
Yeah, no, it's through my homebrew club.
Yeah.
We're doing a wort share. We're going to brew beer with wort that they made, and then we're going to have a little mini competition.
For the first time ever, we're going to do a head-to-head of East versus West, or American versus the real thing. So we're doing style 3B Czech Premium Pale Lager. Now, most people call it Czech Pilsner, but I guess that's an appellation because Pilsner Urquell, when they say Czech Pilsner, you think of this beer. This is the one that started it all. So it's going to run through the overall impression on that stuff real quick. So refreshing pale Czech lager with considerable malt and hop character and a long finish. Malt flavors are complex for a Pilsner-type beer. The bitterness is strong and clean, but lacks harshness, which gives a well-balanced, rounded flavor impression that enhances drinkability. All right, so let's go down to the comments and all that stuff. Generally, a group of pivo, I don't know, Pilsner-type beers. The combination of the Czech styles. Just watch last week. So I think we went over this.
Yeah.
In the Czech Republic, only Pilsner Urquell and Gambrinus are called Pilsner, despite how widely adopted this name is worldwide. Outside the Czech Republic, Czech Pilsner or Bohemian Pilsner are sometimes used to differentiate the beer from other Pilsner-type beers. This word, yeast beer versions are popular in the Czech Republic and may be either krausened with yeasted wort or given a fresh dose of pure yeast after fermentation. These beers are sometimes cloudy with subtle yeastiness and enhanced hop character. Modern examples vary in the malt to hop balance, and many are not as hop forward as Pilsner Urquell. So, Brett, can you give the audience a quick definition of what krausening means?
So krausening is a way of carbonating a beer where you can take another beer that has just started to ferment and mix it with the beer that has finished fermenting in a closed vessel, and the CO2 that is produced by the yeast from the fresh beer will then carbonate the beer that has already finished and off-gassed all of its CO2.
All right, let's get back to it. History, commonly associated with Pilsner Urquell, which was first brewed in 1842 after the construction of a new brew house by brewers. I guess that's how they spelled brewers, or I don't know if that's a typo or what. I guess that's brewers to satisfy the standard of beer brewed in Pilsen. Bavarian brewer Joseph Groll is credited with the first brewing the beer, although there may have been earlier pale lagers in Bohemia. Just as important as the lager yeast was the use of English malting techniques. Interesting. Characteristic ingredients: traditional Czech hops, Czech malt, Czech lager yeast. Water low in sulfate and carbonate provides a distinctly soft, rounded hop profile despite high hopping rates. Now, we went over that last week with the Czech Pale Lager, so it's basically the same. The bitterness levels of some larger commercial examples have dropped in recent years, although not as much as in many contemporary German examples. That's interesting. Because when I think of hoppy lager, I think German Pilsner, and they're saying that it's been coming down. All right, style comparison. More color, malt richness, and body than a German Pils, with a fuller finish and a cleaner, softer impression, stronger than a Czech Pale Lager, which is what we did last week. So check that out. So our vitals, pretty low. Well, actually, 1044, 1060. I actually call that. It's not low. It's not high. It's just right there in the middle for original grab.
1060 I think of 1060 for a lager as being kind of on the high end.
Yeah. Although the finishing gravity is kind of high too, 1013 to 1017. It seems a little under attenuated, The ABV 4.2 to 5.8. So I mean, yeah, I guess if you're going for the higher end 5.8, that's like, I've never had a 5.8 Pilsner.
No, I mean I think of like
it.
A 5.8 lager from the old world. That's more like a venturing into like fest beer territory, where it's like an amped up version of a lager that already exists.
Mm-hmm. And 30 to 45 IBU, so fairly bitter, or especially bitter for a lager, and 3.5 to 6 SRM, so kind of gold yellow color. By the way, I just checked. Pilsner Urquell is 4.4, and the one from Wild East is 5. So all right, so the American's actually a little bit stronger. All right, so I got my Pilsner Urquell here.
Whoop, spilled.
All right. Well, the first thing I notice on this is I definitely get a little bit of diacetyl.
100%, more than I remember ever getting with this beer, and I would say that it was like a one-off. But the fact that you and I are getting this from very different places in the country, obviously from different six packs, makes me think that it's
Yeah.
not.
I also get surprisingly like kind of caramel malt and also those classic Czech Saz hops, you know,
Yeah.
the almost peppercorn or maybe not rye, but
It's funny. There is much more of a sweet note to this than, like, remember last week with the 3A, we talked about it just being kind of like fresh grain, you know, just like putting your face in a bag of grain. And this is a little different. This is like, there's more like a caramelly note to the nose that wasn't there.
I wonder how much of that is also just from age. It's hard to get you know, exact age on these bottles. I don't see like a real clear, easy to read code.
Mine has a best by date on the back of November 1st, 2023. And I feel like most of these commercial European
Mine
lagers.
says July. Okay.
So I would say mine is probably a little fresher than yours. I think they're
Yeah.
usually brewed. I think they
Probably
usually
a
have
year out.
like a year. Yeah. Because that means that, I mean, that's 8 months away, November. So
yeah, mine's only what, 4 months away. So this bottle's kind of old, but
yeah.
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 Right, so,
I mean, it's a little unfortunate that we can't get like really fresh examples of this.
yeah, maybe like, you know, in the city you could probably get it on tap maybe, and it might be a little bit fresher.
Yeah.
You want to give the wild, what's the name of this beer? It's kind of a long one.
It's called Patience and Fortitude.
P&F.
P&F.
All right, Summit.
Very different. No diacetyl at all.
Yeah, I agree. You know, the first thing that struck me as soon as I smelled it is that it has like this American 𝗔𝒐𝗄𝐻 character to it. Like as soon as I smelled it, I'm like, it smells like an American lager. It almost has, I get like almost like a grassy note or a lemony note.
Yeah, I think I know what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
I do get those Saz hops though. There is that like peppery note that I think that they give off, but there is something that's like slightly fruity, and I don't know if it's an ester derived fruitiness from the yeast. It might be.
I also get this has like that kind of clean, grainy quality as the 𝗂𝗄𝗏 from last time.
Yeah.
But not, oddly enough, not quite to the extent of that one. But yeah, I mean, it definitely has that clean, grainy lager aroma, a little bit spicy, a hint of grass or something on there.
Yeah, there's definitely kind of like a fresh mowed grass type note.
Yeah, I agree. Want to check the specs on this one? All right, let me get up here. All right, so for aroma, medium to medium high, bready-rich malt, and medium low to medium high, spicy floral herbal hop bouquet. They give you quite a range there.
Yeah.
The balance between the malt and hops may vary. The interplay is rich and complex. Light diacetyl or very low fruity esters are optional. All right. Esters tend to increase with gravity. Interesting. You know, because like the New York example we were saying actually does seem a little fruity and estery, and this is 5%. So that, you know, that would make sense. It says esters increase with gravity, so this has a higher gravity.
Yeah.
Although they say maybe just because I'm, you know, this is like the 11th bottle of the 12 pack, you know.
Yeah.
I'm picking up, to me this seems a little bit stronger than light diacetyl.
Yeah. Oh no, it's very noticeable.
As far as scores on this one, well, I mean, they're both to style as far as the specs say.
Yeah, they're different, but they both fit within the parameters that are listed.
Yeah. For the Pilsner Urquell, I'm thinking 10, which seems a little high because I think it's just this particular batch is way more diacetyl-y than usual. Or I don't know. I mean, I don't think you could get diacetyl like from age. I mean, you would get like oxidation, like a lemon lollipop. But
yeah, I don't think of diacetyl. Diacetyl is usually a byproduct of fermentation, so it's not. I mean, there are diacetyl precursors that can form over time, but like usually you'll get those by the time the beer is, packaged and conditioned, it wouldn't be this far out.
Yeah. And I think they may have just canned it or bottled it a little early. Maybe a few more days would have cleared that up.
Possibly.
As far as the patience and fortitude, I think that's a 9. What are you thinking?
I mean,
on a scale of 12.
Yeah, I have a hard time, just based on these two in front of me, I have a hard time giving the Pilsner Urquell a higher score. I understand, like, it's hard not to be clouded by what Pilsner Urquell is,
Right.
but that diacetyl is so overwhelming to me.
Yeah.
That I if anything, I would go maybe an 8 on the Pilsner Urquell and a 9 on the Wild East.
Okay. All right. So appearance, I'm not sure how they're picking up on camera, but they look almost identical.
Yeah, they're very, very similar in color.
I think the Pilsner Urquell is like a little bit clearer and like a tad darker.
Yeah, I'd say like maybe just a hint of orange in the Pilsner Urquell that's not there.
Yeah, I
in
agree.
the Patience and Fortitude.
I got a bigger head on the though. That might have been because of the fact that it's in a can and it's 16 ounces and it's a 11.2 ounce bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, they're both, I would definitely call them clear, gold. It's also, we're doing this at night. It'd be nice to have the sunlight. You get a little bit more accurate, color that way. Yeah, sorry. So let's check the specs for appearance. Medium yellow to deep gold color. All right. Brilliant to very clear clarity. Dense, long-lasting, creamy white head. It's funny because both of ours have kind of fizzled away, but I mean, it's also been sitting here. I think I would go 3 out of 3 for both.
Yeah, the head is pretty long-lasting. I mean, I poured the Pilsner Urquell, a little bit before we started this, and the head is still there.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, you swirl it up, it's gonna come back. Also, this isn't really the proper glass for a Pilsner, but
yeah.
So are you going to go 3 on both?
I think 3 on both.
All right. Well,
I see no flaws in either one of them in appearance.
All right. Well, I guess you want to start with Pilsner Urquell to drink?
Yeah.
All right. Cheers or
cheers,
as they would say. I think actually they say something else. It's an interesting combination of that diacetyl and just the classic Czech Saz hop spiciness, and also that clean graininess too.
Yeah, it's about as bitter, I think, as Czech Pilsner gets. I can't think of, although we don't get a lot of real Czech examples, unfortunately, but I remember being there, and I don't remember any other lager being this bitter.
Yeah. And it's a nice bitterness. I think, what did I say? It was 30 to 45.
This is probably closer to 45 is my guess.
Yeah. The spec said, the overall impression said it should have a long finish. I would say, yeah, those hops linger. The kind of graininess lingers. And I think the diacetyl fades like as soon as you swallow. It doesn't sit around.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely there in the middle of the palate, though. Like it's coming across to me as almost like a butterscotchy flavor on the palate. It's not necessarily bad. It's just I don't remember it having this much diacetyl.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe I incepted that into you because I said that to you a few days ago, and
you did. But I feel like I'm fairly. I pick up, like I talked about this with other home brewers. Not everybody can pick up on diacetyl. Some people don't notice it. I feel like I'm one of those people that, like, even in small doses, I can pick up on it.
I usually only pick up on it if it's like glaringly obvious, or like as I judge a lot of homebrew competitions, like this is the kind of diacetyl you would get like in somebody's blonde ale that they bottled it too soon.
I mean, thankfully, because there is such like that spicy, firm bitterness. It's not out of balance. You know, like if it was
Yeah, I agree.
if it was a butter bomb and there was no bitterness, it would be virtually undrinkable. But because it's so bitter, that's really what sticks with you. The buttery quality goes away after a second, but the spicy bitterness sticks with you.
Do you get any fruitiness on this one at all? I don't. It's to me, it's just grain and hops and
yeah.
No.
Yeah, I definitely like what we talked about with the 3A. You could definitely get a little bit of that, like that like biting into a mouthful of Pilsner malt. Yeah. That kind of a graininess.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the American example: patience and fortitude. We can say cheers for this one.
Yeah, yeah.
The first thing I noticed on this one is kind of the same with the 𝗈𝒄, just that massive grain on here. Just to me, that's front and center. And also like there's a spicy hop on here, but it's like almost like a different, maybe I think it just has like a slight grassy note to it. Maybe did they dry hop this or something?
I mean, I can't say with 100% certainty, but knowing Wild East, I'd be very shocked because they do tend to do their lagers fairly traditionally. Mm-hmm. Like they have an Italian Pilsner, which is dry hopped, but I don't think they would dry hop their Czech or German Pilsners.
Mm-hmm. What are you getting as far as flavor?
I'm getting the grain. It's a little bit more subdued than it is on the Pilsner Urquell, as are the hops. It's definitely not as bitter as the Pilsner Urquell. But it has a similar like spiciness to it. It's definitely overall, it's surprising that it's higher in ABV because to me it almost seems milder than the Pilsner Urquell.
Yeah, I think just like the more forward grain on here, to me, like just as a beer nerd would, it'd say, all right, it's got more grain, so more, higher gravity, so more alcohol,
Yeah, unfortunately, I know what the gravity is on both of these beers, so it's hard to say, but yeah, I mean, it ticks a lot of the same boxes as the Pilsner Urquell. It's definitely missing all of that diacetyl. There's not even like the faintest hint of that in this.
I agree. Yeah, it's a cleaner fermentation, and it does slightly remind me of the 𝗈𝒄 from last time, but stronger. I mean, which is basically the same. That's what a 3A and a 3B should be. It's just
yeah. No, I mean, and I wouldn't be surprised. Although these are different breweries, because actually, it's funny. It's too bad. They do. Wild East does make a small version of this I think it's called Little Patience, and it's a sub 4%. It might even be the exact same recipe, just with the lower gravity. I'm not sure.
Yeah. All right, let's check the specs for flavor. Rich, complex, bready maltiness combined with a pronounced yet soft and rounded bitterness and floral and spicy hop flavor. Yeah, I can see when they say bready. To me, I always think more German, but yeah, just like that raw grain,
Yeah.
Malt and hop flavors are medium to medium high, and the malt may contain a slight impression of caramel. All right, interesting. Because I would say the Pilsner Urquell does have like a slight caramel. In fact, I said that when we were smelling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has like almost like a little bit of sweetness to it. Bitterness is prominent but never harsh. I agree with that. Both of these beers are, prominent. It's not to like the IPA punch you in the face bitterness, or I should say the old school IPAs.
Yeah.
The long finish can be balanced towards hops or malt, but is never aggressively tilted either way. Yeah, I agree. It's pretty even on both beers. Light to moderately low diacetyl and low hop drive esters are acceptable, but need not be present. All right. So is this a moderately low? I mean, I'm going to go as far as to say moderate for the Pilsner Urquell, but none on the.
Moderately low would be somewhat generous. I think it's a little higher than that in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so as far as scores for this one, It's really weird to like not give the progenitor of the style the highest possible score, you know. But it's, as I've said in other episodes of the show, is that you're rating the actual bottle or can in your hand, not
Yeah.
the product as a whole, you know.
Yeah,
So
and
for
I think
Pilsner, go ahead.
if these had brown bags over them and we didn't know this was Pilsner Urquell, like I don't know how you can't not knock it for that.
Yeah. I might go a little low. I think I was thinking like 16 for Pilsner Urquell and maybe like 15 for the patients. What do you think? Actually, I might bump both of these up. I think 16 seems low. I think I might go 17 for Pilsner Urquell and 16 for the patients.
Yeah, I mean, I could honestly even be. I could even go like 18, 17, I think.
18, 17?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it gets a lot better than this. Like, I don't think there's examples. There might be examples out there that are a little bit better, but like not going to be a lot better.
All right, so we just got one more metric. Let's talk about mouthfeel. I just topped mine off a little bit. So I'm going to start with the Pilsner Urquell. It's definitely on the lighter end, but it's not paper thin. I probably call
I think knowing that it has only 4.5% alcohol, like it drinks a little heavier than its ABV suggests.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem super highly carbonated either. But it's not.
No, I did have lingering bubbles for a long time. They've stopped now, but it's medium carbonation.
Yeah, I might even call it medium low. Yeah, it's somewhere between medium low and medium. It is not higher than medium though.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And the patients, it strikes me as being significantly higher carbonated. Like I notice, like as soon as it hits my tongue.
Yeah, I would call that like medium to medium high carbonation.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, the body actually seems a little lighter on this one, which is surprising because it's 5%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's strange. I think not knowing that one of these was a 0.5% higher in alcohol.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd guess that. I think you'd guess that they were probably pretty similar, and if anything, you might think that the Pilsner Urquell was slightly higher.
Yeah. All right, let me bring up the specs for mouthfeel. Medium body, moderate to low carbonation. That's interesting. It just says medium body. It doesn't have any, it doesn't give you a range. Medium body. I mean, I guess I could call both of these medium. Moderate to low carbonation, but I would say, all right, I'll give you a moderate for Pilsner Urquell, but the other one is higher than moderate. It's not champagne effervescence, but
yeah, I mean it's not like Bud Light carbonated, but
exactly, it's very, very close. I think I would go 4 and 4 on both of these. So out of 5.
Yeah, I can't argue for a different score than that.
All right, so you're gonna go 4 on both. All right. Overall impression. Well, I mean, Pilsner Urquell, I mean, there's no reason not to give it a 10. Well, this particular bottle is not. It doesn't strike me as being a 10. I mean, I've seen some flaws. I think this Pilsner Urquell, this particular bottle is an 8, and the other one I think is like more of a 7. I could go 7 or 8 for the patients.
I'd honestly, I don't necessarily want to go any lower for the. Because I think again, just drinking these two.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that I would. I enjoy them both, and like you said, they are similar but different. But I don't know that the patience is really like. I know it's again, it's so hard when you know the history that's involved with this particular brewery, and that's hard not to like let that cloud your judgment. But like, just from a sheer drinking enjoyment standpoint, I'm not enjoying the Patience of Fortitude any less than I'm enjoying the Pilsner Urquell. I think it's a great beer.
Yeah, and it's interesting. This is definitely remind me of like doing a flight at a competition, because like you'll have all beers that are of the same style, and they'll all taste a little bit different, you know. And there's like there's a definite difference between these two. I could go 8 and 8. I don't think either of these is higher than an 8 out of 8.
I'm fine with that. But I think I would lean more towards giving them both an 8. Maybe if the Pilsner Urquell didn't have as much diacetyl, I might go as high as 9.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I think as is 8 and 8.
All right, I gotta add up the scores here. All right, so I gave Pilsner Urquell a 42. Give it a 41. So very, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the Patience, I went 40. So you give it 41. Yeah, so you went 41 on both. Yeah, I mean they're very similar. I wouldn't have any problem bumping either of these up or down a few points. I couldn't consider either of them, to me they're sub 45. They're not quite in the outstanding tier. I mean, classic example, I wouldn't call Flawless, at least Pilsner Urquell, just because like seems a little bit too much diacetyl. And I don't know if I go as far as say wonderful. Just this particular bottle, this particular batch, I don't know. I mean, I've had this beer many times before, and I usually like something like a beer like this. It's actually better if you go like maybe a year between drinking it, and then like you come back next year like, oh, I forgot how good this is, or how good of an example of the style it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beer. I don't drink a lot of Pilsner Urquell, but it's one that I will come back to from time to time. This is just like, I don't remember ever getting this much diacetyl in it, and I don't know if it's just like power of suggestion, and it was always this way, or just your taste buds change over time too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I guess about wraps it up for the Czech Premium Pale Lager. I don't know why they don't just call it Czech Pilsner. I mean, that's what we all call it. I mean, it's just an appellation thing, I guess. But yeah. So again, thanks. I forgot to mention is that Brett actually sent me this can all the way from Brooklyn. So thanks, man, for the beer. And actually, he sent me a couple other beers, which hopefully we'll get to those for our future classes. But yeah, I'm gonna enjoy finishing the rest of this can tonight. I got nothing else to do. So. Yeah,
I opened it. I'm also gonna finish it. So
yeah. Is the wife around? You could at least split some with her.
Unfortunately, no. She is at work. So it's all me.
All right. Well, I guess that about wraps it up. So we will see you guys next Tuesday, and who knows what the style will be then. All right. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Somebody brewed it. Chad just reviewed it. Thanks for watching Chad's Beer Review. Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.